So we'll just start getting into the process of understanding the data management system evolution. Okay, I'm not going into the whole timeline, because if we just take the whole timeline, it will be just taking a great amount of effort for us. Okay, why? Because the whole 50 years of what exactly happened in database management systems and all these things, even though it's very important, but technically we'll just make it a very fast level of sketch so that we can understand how exactly the timeline it has been developed. The idea of storing the data in a better way. Data storage is always there in the world. Even in computer sciences, we have data storage as one of the fundamental constructs long back. But in 1960s, first time they came with one kind of criteria that what is the best way to store the data that can make the business look more better, more proper, and more consistent. The main goal was we have to store the data that can make the business definitely more better and qualitative. That was the main goal. Now prior 1960s, what was the problem? The problem is, if suppose I have a particular area of the business, let us say, I used to call a computer science graduate, or in those days there was no computer sciences, it's electronics graduates only who can do the job. So we used to call them, they used to tell, this is my requirement, can you prepare a solution for it? So there was a criteria of plan and analysis by that particular person, and he used to develop that particular solution and give it to the client now. Client used to utilize it, there's nothing like there was no usage, but later on it's the same kind of problem, but another system has to be developed. Everything used to be developed from scratch once again. Means there was no standardization in managing the data. Even my business is same, process is same, my application concept is same, but we have to redesign the system again and again. Now let us say like I'm designing projects for banking. I designed a project for one of my banking clients and it's completed. Now after some days I got another banking client who is expecting me to give him a solution on banking. Now I have to redesign the application once again from the scratch for the next banking client also. Means my investment is going same. Next, what is the thing you should understand is, after some time, banking is a sector that is influenced by some decisions by the government. Suddenly some government decision has changed, then I have to make a change for my particular client immediately. But I have to attend every client independently and individually, and I have to go for the sake of maintenance, which used to cost very heavily. But there was no other alternate, because nobody has done any kind of critical research in data management prior 1960s. And the US was one of the victims for this area. Why? Because in 1960s, US and USSR, today what you call as Russia, which was USSR, they had a very high level Cold War between them to prove who is the superpower of the world. So the only thing these two countries have understood is, to keep ourselves as a superpower, our defense system should be the strongest in the world. When my defense system is the strongest, then automatically I can make all the countries to be in a fear. I should have the most sophisticated weaponry. I should have the most sophisticated and advanced army with me, so that other countries can be in fear and they can be under my control. These two countries have taken that decision, one on the Asian side, the other on the Western side. These two countries' main construct was done. And huge amount of defense research was done in Pentagon in US, and we call it as KGB in USSR. And these defense research secrets have to be maintained very carefully. Then they got an idea that how we can make our defense research data to be kept with the highest amount of privacy and security. And defense is a dynamic construct of research. Now whenever these dynamics of defense research are increasing, how we can see that the previous research can be extended to the next level, but without destroying the overall now. Then they gave a very critical responsibility for the company called as IBM, calling IBM and saying that we need a process of data management with the highest security and easiness to keep our defense policies and defense researches more better. Simultaneously, at the same time, coincidentally, they gave another level of contract for the AT&T Bell Labs people, saying that give us an architecture in computer sciences that can make us to communicate with any computer more privately and more secure. So that's how in AT&T Bell Labs, a project was being proposed by Dennis Ritchie and his team to develop one of the world's best operating system. And in IBM, one of the projects has started coincidentally to see that we can provide one of the world's best data management system. These two things they started simultaneously, coincidentally at the same time. Now the thought process started for best data management standards in 1960s. But nobody had any clear idea like data management should have certain principles first of all. But when the process has started, IBM started putting a panel of experts, and under the total amount of leadership of E.F. Codd, the person by name E.F. Codd, who is actually a mathematical researcher. He was given the responsibility saying that please find a mechanism and methodology for very critical and proper data management standards. He, along with his team, he started working seriously, and after a set of levels of work, they came up with some conclusions and a model. And in 1970, they released one particular data model which was called as relational model for the first time. In 1970s, we did not release any software. Please try to understand the fact very carefully. 60s, they started the research. 10 years, they have done research to find what is the model that can best suitable for managing the data very effectively. And E.F. Codd and his team, they gave great amount of mathematical derivations and expressions, which is a very formal mechanism of data storage or data management. And in 1970s, when he released this relational model, people never thought that data management can be controlled very effectively with the help of mathematical implementations. The reason RDBMS is not something like a general principle. RDBMS is a mathematical standards. It is a formal methodology. Formal means mathematically proved. For every operation you do in database, there is a mathematical proof with derivation and expression. First understand this. That's the only reason you watch carefully. If you take it from 1970s, let us leave it as 1960s. 1970s the model came. From 1970 to 2010 also, if you take it as 40 years of existence, where there is no such kind of model that can outbeat the relational model even today for data storage. The only one single model that is accepted throughout the world for data storage is only relational model today. People couldn't have accepted this for 40 years if it is not giving services as expected. So let us just try to understand some constructs very carefully here. So in 1970s, software was not invented. It was only the model that was given. And this model was pushed for great amount of discussions and debates. Okay, I don't want to go into all the other factors that have happened after that. But they have kept some objectives in designing this model. Relational model was not just designed like that. There was a clear objective behind evolution of this relational model. The main objectives are provide greater independence between programs and the data. The main cost of software in maintenance is, if any change is expected by the client, when we are about to do that particular piece of the change, the whole application should go for the sake of maintenance. That was a problem in those days. Means change in data was demanding the change in process. Change in process was demanding the change in integration. Change in integration was demanding the change in configuration. So it was affecting every nook and corner of the application, increasing the cost of the application in maintenance. There were certain cases where when maintenance was proposed and it was applied, the previous version that was developed in the process was totally kept aside, and you have to redesign and redevelop everything now. Now you cannot expect companies to really have an advantage if such kind of maintenance goes again and again, keeping the original product aside. So E.F. Codd and his team, they were seriously concentrating to understand one very important factor, that is nothing but how we can make a software to be developed in such a way that structurally it is independent from the programs and programs are independent from the structures. Total EF Chords relational model. I am making the point very clear. Total EF Chords relational model is absolutely designed on the concept of the independence between structures and the programs. Simultaneously, it's coincidentally was happening in AT&T Bell Labs with another level of the research now. This cross comparison is not necessary, but we have to understand because we are all technologists. In AT&T Bell Labs, Dennis Ritchie and his team actually started for developing what? Dennis Ritchie and his team actually started the project in AT&T Bell Labs to develop what? To develop an operating system. The main goal was to develop an operating system actually. But unknowingly, they went and landed in developing one language first of all. Because they identified that there is no such language that can be best considered for sake of developing any application in the world in those days. So what they thought is, rather than developing an operating system, first we should have a very proper computer science language that can promise us to develop anything very easily. That was suddenly happening. It was an unexpected event happened in the history of computer sciences, where a team of professionals want to develop one type of product, they finally went and developed something else. In C language, Dennis Ritchie has made a remarkable achievement by talking about pointers. What EF Chord was speaking in the objectives of evolution, that we have to provide greater independence between programs and the data. That same independency Dennis Ritchie and his team was speaking with the concept of the pointers. With the concept of structural pointers and function pointers, whatever kind of feature EF Chord is expecting, that is possible. EF Chord never said that you have to develop the program like this. EF Chord said that if you follow my algorithm like this, you can always give applications which are having greatest independence between the programs and data. Then C language in 1970s came and it started saying that I have an architecture that can provide facilities for independency. That's how RDBMS is only a theory of principles. Relational model is just a theory of principle which tells you what is the way you have to think in developing applications. C language is a practicality of application that can provide you all such kind of features and facilities for developing applications, understanding the rule of the relational model. These two things have happened coincidentally in the history at the same time. Reduce the maintenance cost. It's obvious. When my applications are independent of structures and programs, automatically my cost of the software will reduce. Manage complex data types and structures. Prior 1970s, the only data type that is known to the world is Word. The only data type the world knows is Word. Because in assembly we have only that particular data type, not anything else. But EF Chord said that this data type cannot help the world to work for large scale applications. We should make great amount of research to develop new data types that can represent realistic data that is available in the real time of the human beings. And C language is the first language in the world that made data type management much easier, absolutely by inventing first level data types in the form of integer, float and characters. And arrays was a revolution. Nobody expected that we can have a collection of values of homogeneous nature in one single place. But arrays promised that composition very properly. So EF Chord said that if we want to manage the data for very complex based business implementations, we should have data types that can represent the real time directly. So the data type management is very important. That's what he said. And C language was breaking the barrier in a more better way by providing heterogeneous data collections, where heterogeneous data collections in C language are promised by what? Structures. So with all these things, first time by 1970s, the world was feeling that definitely we can develop applications that can give high level real time oriented experience and exposure to the end users business requirements. then provide easier and faster access to the data even for novice users. In those days, if you really talk about computers, computers are considered that they are only for scientific people. The first generation computer science engineers are only electronics people. There is no computer science engineering. Computer science as an engineering background has started in around 1988, 88 and 89. Prior to that, we had only one field, that is electronics core and electronics with communications. Around 1988 and 90, we identified one core specialization called as computer sciences. And then we started adding some other aspects. Around 90s, we started integrating electronics with electricals. That combinations have started around 1990s. Prior to that, we never had all these kind of fields. After 2003, 2004, we identified that computer sciences can be CS with IT. Information technology should be a different specialization. So these all things have never happened in one day. Your generation will be seeing all these things at a time. But you should understand, in those days, if anybody has to program a computer, you should be an electronics graduate, first of all, understanding the core microprocessor and microcontroller architectures. So you can just imagine the kind of programming difficulty. I don't know how many number of students sitting in this class really have an idea on microprocessors and microcontroller programming. If you have attempted at least once, you know the nightmare behind that, remembering all those registers and the mnemonics, what you have to implement. To write a simple instruction, like in your C language with one single line, you could have said print hello world. The same hello world, if you have to write in your assembly, anything not less than 1000 lines you have to write. So people started feeling the easiness of programming. So EF Cod said only one thing. We have to develop technologies in such a way that even novice programmers can start programming immediately on the computers. In 1970s, people never had a thought that a common man can really sit and write a program for a computer. It was impossible in those days, people to even think also, I'm telling you. But technologically, EF Cod's vision is very different. He started saying that data management is not only for scientific people, data management can be even for a common man who is doing the business in day-to-day life. He also expects definitely the data management standards to be implemented. As far as scientific requirements are concerned, the amount of pressure to develop technologies is not going to be too difficult. But once businessman says that I want technology to drive my business, we cannot take the pressure of developing the applications. So we have designed new software in such a way that these softwares can make the novice users also to operate on computers very effectively. I don't think this is really looking critical today. You just watch carefully which branch of academic people are not coming into computer sciences today, man. Everybody, I think so. Today we are able to enjoy this particular field of computer sciences just because of the easiness what these people have planned in 1970s. You need to just understand. See, certain things I'll tell you. How many times you have taken training to operate your ATM machine from bank one? Did you find any time banks keeping any particular banners? Like we have an ATM operational awareness week this Saturday or Sunday. Please come and register and attend a session. A senior person will tell you how to use the ATM. Even if it is conducted also, nobody will go, I hope so. You took your ATM card, you went inside, and you don't know where the slot is. Then also you started looking from top to bottom, wherever slot is from, you pushed it inside, finish. Your card went inside and you got a welcome message, it's okay. You did not get, you turned the card this side, you twisted the card that side, somehow after 2 to 3 permutations and combinations, said, welcome, your name came. You thought, ye mujhe pehchan liya abhi. And after that you started looking into the buttons and the cash came out. How many times you really took any great training? That's what is the advantage of the technology. Even a novice guy can start working. Once upon a time, I do remember in around 1996, 97, when these mobiles came, when you have to purchase, many people they never used to purchase a mobile. Why means they used to say like, why I need this particular device to communicate? My father is beside me only, my mama is in front of me, my chacha is this side, my chachi is that side. What is there? People started migrating, everybody started having the device. After that SMS came onto the device now. You ask anybody to type SMS, they will say like, "Mujhe nahi aata hai," because not educated. But today, how many people are really getting educated to type SMS? Today, I think if you are having a smartphone, you have your voice to text converter is there. They are directly activating that voice to text converter and they are speaking whatever they like, it's getting converted to text and pressing one button, go. Technology at the tip of the fingers of a human being today. You just go and recollect, when did you operate your first computer in your career? You just go and cross-verify. Most probably, I think, if it is your schools also, because the teacher gave you the computer and standing with a stick at the back, you operated it. Technically, you don't want to operate it first of all. Seriously, you started operating a computer most probably after your 10th is completed or after your intermediate is completed. Now, I think a kid who is born is coming out with a smartphone directly. Today, the world is in such a beautiful way, like the kid comes out of this world, takes his own selfie and puts it into WhatsApp directly and tells the mother, status update is there. That's the life we are seeing. Means imagine what kind of struggle these people have done to give the technology with such a lot of easiness for us. Their focus was only one thing. Everybody in the world should be in a position to operate the computer. Languages have to become easy for implementation. Because everybody may not be technologically strong, but everybody can be operationally better. Be very clear about that. So, their research was not that simple for us to sit in these classes and try to understand. That's what I'm saying. If these people have never done that research and they made the things to move on, today I don't think you and I will sit in these kind of classes to discuss about how to develop applications using computers. And provide future sensation for powerful platforms for decision support systems and expert systems. In 1970s itself, E.F. Codd and his team's vision is what? You just check. When the data has not yet started, these people who are trying to tell the world that computers' concept is to not manage the data, computers' concept is to take decisions by utilizing the data and developing expert systems to implement the applications in the real-time world for the sake of the end user. Decision support systems, people at a point of time they thought that it's a dream. Today they are already existing. Expert systems, we thought that they are impossible. You just wait and check, in another 2-3 years we are into the world of expert systems. Already the first level expert systems are coming into the markets. Some things which are unbelievable until you don't experience it. Sir, can you just say like, what are decision support systems? Simple thing I'll tell you, man. How is it that your banks are sending you SMSs very regularly that you are eligible for a personal loan with so and so amount directly? How your bank knows that you are an eligibility object for the sake of personal loan? Means your database itself is taking the decision, concentrating on how much you are depositing, how much you are withdrawing, where you are scratching your credit card, how you are utilizing your debit, how you are paying back your money in the credit system, and they are finalizing this person's health record of financial management is so and so. So this person, if he is given personal loan, he will repay back this particular loan compulsorily. At a point of time in Mumbai, for all the banks where analytics divisions are working, early morning one personal loan management president, vice president or operational manager comes and pulls his keyboard, enters in login details. Immediately he will get a report on his screen saying that these are the top 1,000 people today you can contact for the banking loan in personal loan segment. This gentleman will immediately try to segregate this particular data by clicking one simple button saying that segregate the report by city-wise. The moment the report gets segregated city-wise, immediately an email will be passed to the local banking systems where he is having the telemarketers who are sitting. these telemarketers will get a report of the work on that day. Means every telemarketer has suppose 20 people to target on that day. 20 people's details, the loan what they are eligible for, and the interest rate into which they can be fixed, the tenure of the loan, and the mobile number. You are getting one particular call immediately saying that you are eligible for personal loan. System is taking all these decisions today. So try to understand, decision support systems are not far away places. They are happening in your day-to-day life. Simple thing I'll tell you, man. You gave your mobile number when you went into one shopping mall and you just came off. Along with your mobile number, it was asking you when is your birthday, when is your spouse's birthday, when is your first son's birthday, second daughter's birthday. All these things are asked and you gave it very sincerely. You forgot your birthday, but they will make you remember 2 days before definitely. How the system is saying that it's your birthday that is coming in, what is the special arrangements you are doing for yourself now? Decision support systems are tracking you. You are not interested in your birthday, but message goes to your son and daughter and your wife in another way. Everybody will have their own personal message. What you are planning for your father for this birthday. Father is not interested. Make the child to get interested now. So India is a system of sentimental state of children now. So the child will come and ask now, Papa, it's your birthday. What you are doing on your birthday? What I will do, ma'am, just no. You have to plan something. I have some proposal for you. Because proposal is already given by the SMS company. They are saying that if you get your father on his birthday to our shopping mall, you will get 60% discount on your particular toys. And we will give you one gift coupon. Take it and go to Domino Pizza Center this Sunday. We will get buy one, get 2 free pizza. You don't like also, your child will kill you and make you do your birthday. This is what is decision support system. Expert systems are very far away to discuss, where 70% of the operations that are conducted in corporate hospitals today are only done by robotics. 30% of the operation is monitored by the doctor. Expert systems. If a doctor cuts the body of the patient, he has to cut the body by say like 10 inches. If a robot cuts the body of the patient, it's only by half a centimeter. Miniaturized laparoscopic operation mechanisms which are absolutely going to promise the patient that he is not going to have any infections at critical stages and his curing rate is very, very faster. There is one kind of proposal that by 2020, in top level medical systems, 95% of the operations should be conducted by robots only, 5% should be only monitored by the doctors, and there is a critical proposal that by 2030, patient's body should not be opened to conduct an operation, means non-suturing operational methods. Non-suturing operational methods means any critical operation in your body will not be cut open for doing the operation. Understand expert systems in the next generation world. In 1970s, these guys had such kind of fundamental intelligence, saying that we have to go to this kind of world. Today, expert systems at your day-to-day lifestyle, I'll tell you, you make a call for your Uberman through your smartphone and you start walking on the road. Is not the Uber driver is coming and exactly stopping his car beside you only? How that guy knows that you are the same person? GPS tracking is happening, expert systems. And the only cost factor in Uber is what? The only cost factor in running Uber is what? Drivers. Very soon, Uber is about to go for driverless Uber systems. Already they have started experimenting with this in Western countries. Successfully they are moving on, and by 2020 they want to target India for driverless Uber car systems. You just imagine how much dare you should have to sit in a car where a driver is not there. But it's going to happen. Self-intelligent instructive systems we call them as. These all systems will work on expert systems criteria. Are you getting ready to design databases for these kind of technologies in the world? So databases from classrooms is different. Databases from what industry is proposing in near future is different. That's what I'm saying. What is your focus point in learning your databases? So the way you think is the same way you will find your career, I'm telling you. Okay. So it's all the thought process and your attitude what you have to build. Throughout my course I'll say only one thing, man. You need not be too intelligent to be successful in your life. You should be very good in your attitude to be successful in your life. Change your attitude as per the requirement of the IT industry. You are just going to see the brightest factor and brightest success out of this industry. All people who get job in IT industry are not definitely successful. Only 20%. Are you one among the 20%? Why? Because you have to understand the objectives of any technology before you start learning the technology. You don't mend yourself, you don't try to tame yourself to the rule of the objectives of that system, you'll never get the best benefits out of it. So, I don't think databases have been just planned simply like that. And whenever you come to the construct of implementation standards of a database, all this never happened in one single day. The whole story started around 1960s with flat files. Flat file management of databases was there from 1960s, continuously active till 1982, and after that they are existing. We don't say they are not existing, but they are now called as legacy systems. Means very old, and only few technologies in the world are depending on these flat file data management systems. But let me tell you one fact very seriously. What is the buzzword in the markets of IT very seriously nowadays, man? What is the buzzword of the technology in the markets of IT for the next generation? Can you just tell me? What is the technology that you are hearing mostly in the markets that it will pick up the process in the next generation? Something like, I hope you are hearing of something called big data, I hope so. How many times you know that the whole big data works once again on the flat file concept only? Means, after 50 years of our existence, once again the world is moving towards the first generation standards of the IT to make it look better. Therefore, current generation IT people, you should be very, very careful. Learning the current trend of the technology is important or not, I don't want to comment. But how many times you can understand the overall history of the IT and its development for the sake of making yourself good in your next generation requirements. In this particular market, there is a constructively big thing. Very few questions I'll get from students. Sir, I want to learn big data. This is a very common question I'll have today. I'll ask him like, what is the experience? No sir, I'm just a fresher. You did not understand what is data till now. And you don't know what is meant by small data. What do you understand by big data mean? In this market, you want to learn big data, you can learn. Even if you don't have qualification also, you can learn. Why? The only qualification in this market to learn any technology is, can you pay the money or not? We don't ask you any extra questions. I want to learn this technology. Simple. There is a new batch starting on so and so day. Fees is this much, 50% discount for you. That is the most important thing an Indian likes now. 50% discount for you. This gentleman will not ask like, why so much of interest on me only for 50% discount? Then every day we have an event in this market. So we are celebrating our 5th anniversary. Next year they will celebrate 6th anniversary. In this, every year there will be one anniversary. 50% will be there like that only. But no student will ask like, am I eligible for big data? You don't ask, they don't tell. I'm not saying that upcoming technologies are not good. But are you eligible for that? From where if I start, I'll get eligible for that particular technology. Nothing has started directly. When in 1960s, first we started understanding how to plan the data for storage in flat files. Even today, flat file management is there. It's not exaggeration. In future, when you are sitting and learning some technologies of big data, 70% of whatever we learn in this Oracle class, you will recollect once again. And you will feel like, I already know this. It's only in a new way and new methodology here. If how much you are concentrating in this particular course makes a big difference now. And in 1960s, even though we were storing the data in flat files, there were some problems here and there. There were first time hierarchical data management systems have started around 1967-68. And then these hierarchical data management systems were actively implemented till 1991-92. Then after that, these hierarchical data management systems are legacy. I don't say they are no more existing, but they are considered as old systems today. Then came the network models. Network models came around 1970s, and they were actively involved in implementation up to 1991, and they went as legacy systems up to 1998. And after 1998, we don't have any network data management systems. Today, network data management systems are no more existing. Sir, why? They have their own problems in insecurity. In network data management, security management is the most critical challenge. Can you tell me these network data management systems in their enhanced standards, they are coming in the market today once again. What is the concept? By which concept these network data management systems are once again entering into the markets? Most probably I can say after around 20 years. They are once again coming. Can you just tell me? That's what you can find in this market, some banners called as blockchaining and Bitcoin implementations. Shall I tell you one thing which is a very wonderful fact? Bitcoin and blockchaining implementations have not yet been accepted anywhere in the world, they are only in the research. Security is not at all known whether they can provide or not. Once you come into the blockchaining, what happens, you know, is exactly as same as the concept of your Facebook with mutual friends concept. When you are getting into your friendship, of Facebook, generally you will get one message. He has 9 mutual friends. What will happen, man? Can you tell me? You want to make friendship with this particular person only. Facebook follows one wonderful formula. A is a friend of B, B is a friend of C, so A is a friend of C, confirmed. And immediately you are a friend of the remaining 9 people also, even if you don't like. Whenever you share something to your friend, and your friend is sharing that on his Facebook wall, it goes to all the mutual friends automatically. This is the area where I think we are losing our privacy in Facebook definitely. Blockchaining is more extreme to this now. Remember that. More extreme to this. What is that? You are having a friend called as A. You made a friendship with him. He got 9 mutual friends now. Technically, you don't need to do anything. It will make you friend with all the 9 mutual friends also automatically. It's not sharing. You will become friend automatically. And imagine in this particular process, your data is how much private by your own nature now. How much amount of validation is expected to manage this data in a more effective way in a high-level internet working architecture of today? Therefore, everything that enters into this market, you should not feel that it's definitely having a great amount of identification. All these things are not new for database developers, I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. Any new technology comes into the world of IT, the first generation IT engineers, they don't get excited. Why? Because it is a new way of implementation, what this old generation has already seen by writing 1000 lines. The only difference is you are writing 100 lines. So, network of databases, they were stopped. They were literally stopped around 1998 only with a concern of security, because in network databases we don't have the concept called as root account is not there, supervisor account is not there. Anybody, if he can enter into the supervisor's account once, he also becomes an administrator automatically. Be very clear about that. Because of this, security was the biggest threat. So when the world started seriously getting into internet, 1995 internet revolution started. By 1998, internet is at the peak stage of movement in the application side. Then suddenly they understood that network databases can kill the privacy and the security of the whole architectural state of the internet. Then they took a decision that network databases should be terminated, they should not be managed anymore. That's how you don't find network databases in the world after 1998. But with a new turn and twist, they are entering into the markets once again. Anyhow, time tells whether we have to adapt them or we should not adapt them. And then came the relational databases, where the relational databases started coming and emerging practically around 1982. Practically. Theoretically, they started in 1960s. Model was finalized in 1970. Software as an implementation started in 1982. Means you just understand, 10 years of research to model, 12 years of research to develop one software. There is no technology in the history of computer sciences till today which has been applied for research, for implementation for absolutely 22 years. That is the only reason database management systems can never be a failure in the history of computer sciences. Till the computer science and IT exist, databases will exist. It is only a fundamental rumor you find in the markets from people like databases have no identification, jobs are not there. These all kind of rumors I am listening since 1995 and the day when I entered. Till today those rumors are there. Don't fall behind these things. You are learning one technology, learn that perfectly, effectively. You will find the job. You learn in your own shortcut and you expect the jobs, it's not going to happen. Standardize yourself. So relational databases, they became really no doubt famous because they standardized the concept of data management. Means high level consistency for data management was promised by relational systems. That is the reason in the history you will always listen RDBMS as one main component or main concept. Then the world understood that only relational systems cannot do everything. Then definitely you can just watch in a span of 10 years, at an average after 10 years, object-oriented data management systems have emerged. So object-oriented systems never came in one single day. I am not talking object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is 1980s itself. But as systems implementation, it was around the criterion composition of 1991-92. But later on, within one year, the world understood that only with object-oriented systems we cannot develop the projects effectively. So they integrated relations and object orientation together and the world became object relational by nature. And then definitely the size of the data increased, the transactional capacities was more than expectation. The people started thinking that analysis plays a very important role in business. Then around 1990s, the application side of data warehousing has started. And data warehousing and databases, they were purely on the internet oriented platforms by absolutely 2000. 2004, there was no database in the world that was not working with an integration to internet. That's how your databases became web-enabled databases. By almost all 1992, the world started understanding that we should come into web-oriented architectures, presenting the data with HTML-like standard, and that became a big bang of implementation by 2000. And today, show me where we are not presenting the data without Webman. Your banks have come into your smartphones as a small app means you should understand we are into only web-oriented implementation today. The statistics, yesterday's statistics on mobile analysis shows that we are the second largest mobile holders in the world. And the first largest community which uses the net data in the world. We are the people who use mobile data on internet to the maximum in the world today. The statistics are showing that within another 1 year, with the revolutionary standards that are happening from the Reliance-like companies, Every Indian will operate on his internet only by the mobile. With the 24/7 usage of the mobile data will be there in our country. Imagine. What will be the status of our business implementations in near future? Are we not really purchasing the tea also today by signing with Paytm? A tea glass is also into the web database today. Since you should understand, if Indian government takes it very seriously, at the end of the day, if a button is pressed by our Indian government, how many number of teas are sold in one single day in India database is there. In which street, how many teas have been sold, data is there. How many tea vendors are there in India, data is there. These poor tea vendors, they don't know the technology, therefore they are keeping Paytm accepted. They are not understanding that he is telling the Indian government that I am selling tea in this market. Since his childhood, nobody knows about him. Now income tax department knows about this guy. Poor people. Many times I feel like to tell them, they don't understand technology. If you tell them like, sir, आपको नहीं तो बोलने के लिए Paytm अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे. एक दिन इनकम टैक्स आएगा और बोलेगा कि इतना टी सेल कराए, टैक्स भरो. This guy will say, मेरा दुकान ले लो. You're not understanding, I'm telling you. Heights of usage of digitalization in the world of business. Databases at extreme levels I'm speaking, okay? Be very, very clear about that. These things will go very far and wide, I'm telling you. We are not understanding the implications of how the data will be managed in our country in near future. 70% of Indian business is done without knowing the Indian government. Only 30% of the business data is with the Indian government. With 30% of the business data paying the taxes, if we people are living like this with richness, imagine next to 70% of the business also you integrate into the Indian government. The whole world knows that we are the richest nation in the world. The only difference is we don't know where that money is. We are highly concentrated by World Bank, where World Bank knows that this country is enough to serve all the countries in the world. Therefore, databases at peak levels of examples for web enability. Are you catching me? So, try to understand these factors. Okay, I've seen many number of people who are very happy in putting their GPS on their mobile. How many times you know that your GPS information along with your particular MAC number and your mobile number is going in the central database of the tribe. Okay. With the click of a mouse, tribe can know which citizen in India from which place to which place he will travel every day. We will understand this. And another thing I'll tell you, expert systems intelligence. Today, many of the people will, when they enter into the restaurant, they'll immediately ask like free Wi-Fi is there or not. Restaurants are also providing free Wi-Fi. What do you know about the strategy behind this one? Whenever you are using your free Wi-Fi, you are sharing your MAC address with that particular Wi-Fi and you are operating it. You sat in a Cape Coffee Day and you use the Wi-Fi there. At the end of the day, Indian government knows how many number of customers came into Cape Coffee Day centers and they went. Got it? And you went into Cape Coffee Day means you never try to use Wi-Fi only. At least one coffee you will have it. Minimum bill starts with 80 rupees to 150 rupees now. So on an average, Indian government knows how many people are spending only for the sake of coffee at the end of the day, average 150 rupees. This guy who is spending 150 rupees for sake of coffee in his life, what should be his particular cost of living at the end of the day? Nothing happens now only, okay? Down the line in 10 years, Indian government will know everybody what they are. Strategy of analytics. Therefore, before you use free Wi-Fi, think twice now. Got it? I've seen many number of people, they'll enter into in-orbit mall there. You'll go on the road, I've seen people speaking also, they are internet chat. In orbit mall ke andar chale jao. Free Wi-Fi spots are there. You actually went for use Wi-Fi only, but in orbit mall is a tagline there. This MAC number in in-orbit mall has been using Wi-Fi for so many amount of time. Now, why people enter into in-orbit mall? The concept of Indian government is purchasing the products. Even if you are caught and you say that nice or maa ka kasam only Wi-Fi use kara, you keep your maa aside, kasam le lo, ki aapne bahut rich ho, okay, you are the most richest, first accept that. We need to understand this digitalization world. I am telling you, web-enabled database is a different story. Understanding this from these kind of classrooms is a different concept and perspective, I will tell you. By the time we complete our course, our agenda is clear today now. Okay, by the time I complete your course, definitely I will teach you relational databases because that is our sign of signature and contract. But we will also understand how to use relational databases as hierarchical. We will also understand how to use relational databases as network. We will also understand how we can make ourselves identify with relational databases as object-oriented. And we will also try to understand how we can understand relational databases with object-relational, and how we can understand how relational databases can help us to operate on data warehousing. The web-enabled side and the flat file side, these are the only two things. I am not going to take it into my contract in this class. The only reason is, for web-enabled, I should make you move into technologies like Java and XML. Now, I don't think that's not anywhere into our contract, and I don't want to make you become some other programmers when you came for one particular type of programming. Flat file is also the same construct. So, this is my entire syllabus for making you learn database, where generally student in this market will come only with a focus on learning relational database. So, you are expecting that, but I am going to pick you with all those things. Now, one general question I will get always from my students, sir, why so many number of things I need? Because once you keep your resume, we expect all these things from you after you get into your job, which is never spoken outside when you are applying with your resumes. No company will tell you, I need all these things. But once we give you the job, we expect anything from you from anywhere. So my syllabus is very vast, man. So generally, anywhere you feel that this much of Oracle is enough for me, you can leave the class. But if you want to stay in the industry secured for next 5-6 years, this is your agenda to get into your companies, definitely by the time you leave this classroom. So, you want to be the best or you want to just go casually with the databases, you decide. Even if you accept me to do it in another way, my agenda of my course is that. When I will make you do what, leave it on my shoulders. Finally, we are not going to do these things as headings and chapters now, because a project is never done with chapters, a project is done with integration. By the time I complete my entire course, you will come to know, being a relational developer, how you can participate and do programming in all these areas if you are given an opportunity in your companies. It could be looking overconfident at this level, but out of my confidence I can tell you, if you can catch every point what we speak in this class end to end of its discussion, even if you are a fresher, you will work at par with competition with your 5 years experienced person who is there in your company. Okay? You will never ever try to shiver yourself out of the fear. You are pushed into any project of any type and you are having 3+, 4+ years person also with you, you will work in competition with that person equivalently, sometimes better than that. Sir, are you sure? I told you sometimes you have to believe me until I don't make you experience it. So, The more faster you understand our journey, it's better. So the concept is, you want to get your job, but my concept is, can I make you keep your job? So when I can concentrate on making you keep your job, then getting the job is a peanut. It's not going to be difficult. And that will not keep your job. Average 3 years without having any problem, you will stay in your companies. Within these 3 years, you will also learn many number of things once again. So definitely nobody can really shake you in your career for a span of 10 years if you are continuously conscious in doing your work. What length of consciousness you need, that is what I will push from my classroom. That's where I said previously, I am saying once again, sitting in the class, you are listening, you are not listening, I don't care. Listening is your job. Because you are not kids where I should start putting the pressure on you saying that please learn. See, you are paying the money, man. You respect your money and time. That's all. So, we are into the process now. Before I can put you into the commands of database and everything, there are few things now. Once you come into this industry, there are 3 types of areas where you can settle in a better way. Even though there are many number of other areas, I don't want to speak about that. 3 areas I generally say you can settle in a better way. 1, you are either a product developer. Okay, if you want to be part of this industry, you should either be a product developer. The second is, you are a solution provider. Okay, you are either a solution provider. Third is application implementer. Even though there are another 10-15 different areas to settle in this IT industry, these are the most highly identified and they can give you better career and better profile. Out of all these 3, if you ask me what is the best, I'll say product developers. Secured life, cool, always targeting and working for a particular type of product that is the focus of that company. Product is researched by the research team that is there in that company. Those researchers will come and discuss with you and they will tell you what to develop, and your work culture will be very standardized with clear focus with what the company expects, and you have all the people in your company working for the same product with the same focus. One person can help the other person even if he is failing. Good cordial environment. There is no professional selfishness in this kind of companies because all are working for focus on one single goal. So nobody will hide the technology and his intelligence from the other person. A very highly shareable environment you will find, most friendly oriented. Above all these things I will tell you, company will never let you to leave the company and thinks of replacing you. Because once you leave the company, it's a big loss for the company because the next person, he has to understand the whole product and its life cycle from the scratch. It may take sometimes 6 months to 1 year. So even before you get a mind that, you get a thought that I want to leave my company, company satisfies you. Your increments, pay packages and everything are well planned, including bonuses, incentives. Why? Because the product is the focus there. Above all this is commercial side advantage. Next thing is the way your work culture goes. Maximum product based companies, 9 o'clock you are in the company, by 5 o'clock you are outside the company. Your life is in your hands. Really wonderful. If you are working for certain companies who are very extreme in product level, like GE, you take it. GE has many divisions, in that product divisions are there. If suppose you are working for GE Medical Systems, let us say, and you are one of the developer in GE Medical Systems. Suppose like GE has invented treadmill. They are developing something in treadmill. You will get a treadmill free of cost now. They will give this product for testing to their employees only. So if you purchase a particular product outside, it will be costing you 1.5 lakh, 2 lakhs. You are a product developer in GE, free of cost. Suppose like you are working for LG, and you are working for LG in their high-level, high-definition television systems. Now any new model of LG comes in with high-definition television of LED costing in the market 5 lakhs, free of cost. So every year change one product comes in. After 5 years or 10 years, all products are in your house only. So it's a vision. Okay, it's a vision. Looks exciting, but only 10% people in the world are eligible for this. Okay. Now the last part is discouraging. Don't worry. Okay. Find yourself to go there. That's in your hands. Remember that. So product-based companies are very highly focused. But 10% people always look suitable for that because high-level academics, wonderful intellectual skills, critically logical, having passion to work for new things, having innovative and inventive mind, taking the challenges of the coding and not getting scared with any complicated things that are demanded by the industry. You have all these attitudes with you. You are one successful person to be part of those companies. From this market, sir, can I become a product developer? 100% not. Why? Because to make you a product developer, we should discuss our technology in which way? Keep one product in front of us, analyze that product only, architecture-wise, implementation-wise, and learn the technology as per that particular product only. If we do that in this market, not even 2-3 students will sit in the class. So this market can never make you become product developers. So from this market, don't keep a vision of that. But don't leave the dream. Don't leave the dream. Second is solution providers. These are the next people out of the product developers. They take a problem that is existing in the world, analyze for that particular problem only, and they will try to provide a solution to come out of that particular problem. They are called as solution providers. Solution providers are okay, it is expectable, but to become a solution provider, we need one, a particular problem to be taken and then analysis has to be begun. In this market, if you take a particular problem and start analyzing and make you become solution providers, no student will listen. Why? Because student expectations are different in this particular market and the course has to be conducted as per his expectations only. So this market cannot make you become even solution providers. So what is left over now? At least application implementers. Application implementer job, I don't say it's bad, it's next best. Anything after that, I don't vote for it. I don't vote for it. So in this market, if you are conscious and if you can put your effort properly and understand what is happening in the class and the way it is moving on, from my side, I can promise you, I can make you work as application implementers. This is what I can make you achieve definitely. Sir, why not the product and solutions? I told you already, we need to take a specific thing and we have to work for that now. Now in this market, no, I don't think there is any research criteria that is left over now. So at least the last one that can be the best in your particular career, I can make you achieve. Sir, if I am not even ready for this, when you are sitting in a class that is having focus for this, any other thing you will get automatically one. That's not a big thing. So, at least put your effort to this level. Definitely we will be having tough things than the other people are learning the technology. No doubt. You will also feel at some stage, sir, my friend is learning databases, he is not struggling as much as I am struggling. Be happy you are at least struggling. Why? Because that shows you are moving properly to get yourself into the next level very easily. There is no easiness and shortcut to become part of the IT industry in the best positions. If anybody says that it is there, believing is your problem, fooling you is his intelligence. So, we will work together and we will make the things easy. I will show you the methodology in which way you have to work such that it becomes easy. And for application implementation process, definitely we can achieve from this particular class. Don't worry about that. But there's one critical thing I want to catch now. If we can understand what is application implementation process, what I will deal throughout the course. If your luck favors and you can do 2% extra work from your side, you can also understand what is solution oriented approach. If you can put 4% extra effort from your side, you can even understand what is product based approach. Your academics are good, your track record of your process is showing good. If your luck favors, I can definitely say 4% students from this particular batch also may get their opportunities in product and solution provider companies. Luck favors you only when you start working for it, not when you just listen and leave it. So after I leave you with this level, how much amount of work you do from your side after getting into your rooms or your houses, that's in your hands now. The reason we should at least understand what is a application development mindset. So tomorrow when I'm speaking with you, I'll just start directly to check, are we ready to understand what is application development approach? Even though we are not going to develop an application immediately, but let us put that approach in our brain in the starting stages such that will continue with us throughout the course. Tomorrow what I am speaking is not very important, but it's better you don't lose even a minute of what I am discussing out of that. Why? Because it makes a change in our thought process now. Day by day as we are working, we'll only focus on how best we can leave this classroom to give the best that is expected by the industry. Now I can definitely tell you my journey starts from tomorrow with you in that thought process now. And we are soon going to keep ourselves into Oracle. We will also write, maybe already some students are having their own confusion after how many days this gentleman will make us type the keyboards and all these things. Don't worry, man, okay? One day you will feel like, why this man is making me type keyboard so much of time. So we'll have great experiences from this class, don't worry, okay? So let us at least feel happy for a few days, because after another 1 or 2 weeks you don't have that now, okay? So you'll be having your own pressure to work. So before we can start working, let us understand what's the pressure we need to pick up first of all. So tomorrow I'll make a clear focus of what is the way we have to think if we really want to take this databases as one of our career, and what thought process we have to develop now. Just 24 hours to see what's waiting for us. Thank you once again, tomorrow with you.